Greetings to all and sundry. Time, be it somewhat belated, for another Chance's View. An update on what's been going on, the projects I've been working on, not working on, other changes, challenges, and the such like. So, we'll begin. Firstly, the apologies. Yes, I know I haven't done a vid for probably one of my longest periods for quite a while, of getting on for 2 months, which is not like me, and I know that. And I think some of the explanations will come to make a sense of that. Part of the reason has been I stalled on one project, namely the Calypso, and then decided to plug on with another project that's painting up a KOB fleet. And I think here this leads us into the issue of being both a model maker and a wargamer. With a model maker, discrete individual project is actually moderately interesting. As a wargamer, painting up yet another fleet is less so. Particularly when, like me, you're trying to paint every fleet differently and you're thinking, this is really such a decent colour scheme, but you're doing it because you want to get a fleet out on the table. You have a vision of not just any one fleet, but like if you have one nation, you have to have a purely rival nation, and almost your own geopolitical makeup. The yin and yangs of Dystopian Wars. So when I stalled on the Calypso, I set about painting up a Kingdom of Britannia fleet, which I will show you here. So this is the fleet I've been working on over the past few days. Move back a little bit. Move them in a bit. Fairly straightforward paint scheme where I've gone for grey, white to grey to black tonal variation. One of the problems with having quite a few fleets is you struggle to work out how to paint yet another one differently. And while I'm happy how this paint fleet looks, I also know it's anything but the most interesting of colour schemes or eye-catching of appearances. But it has the usual trademarks of nearly all the ships flag, but they will be all have the flags added. A bit of a sub-project within the project was completely reworking the large aircraft carrier, the Queen Elizabeth class, I believe it is, and I may have got that totally wrong, by crossbreeding it with the dreadnought. So I did buy the two models and work them together. Never liked the original one where you had two battleship hulls side by side and a carrier deck put on them. Never appealed to me, so I did quite a lot of rework, and for you KOB aficionados, you can see the direction we've taken here. So that has been a bit of what I've been chugging away with to get something done. As always, also as you can see on the front rank, the tiny flyers have been sliced off their bases and mounted on various height pins to reflect different squadron functions. There's a couple of small squadrons left, and the two more battleships I'll have to do some scratch building on, because that sort of freed them up. But you can see the vast majority of the fleet is there, and I'm going to be, in all honesty, I'm not going to be really expanding it massively or buying many more box sets or stuff like that of the KOB. Okay, but so here they are. Now, having cleared, that's another bit of space, well, a bit of space that's now been cleared from the shipyard. So that's been a bit of an ongoer. Not done at the fastest rate, but sort of something I have chugged away with, working my way through, and had one or two games with as well. Though, because of club admin and my working hours, it's been harder for me to get as much gaming as well as modelling in than I normally would. On the club admin side is Deeside Defenders Wargames Club is expanding, and I deal with the membership side of it, the finances and all the rest of it, and I tend to find that that takes up, because of when I have to go around with a tin, it eats into my gaming time. So, and with other different forms of membership and aligning it with the sports and social club that our club is part of, has just taken up more of my club night time and has put a bit of a dent in my own gaming. Added to that, why I felt I had to get the fleet out of the way is that, whereas as a modeler, if you have a model stash, it's just about the models. For me, as a wargamer, I don't just have a kit stash for the plastic modelling side. I have what I've started to refer to as the Shipyard for my Dystopian Wars fleets. And yeah, they've grown a bit, the stuff waiting to get done. So, and I should explain, I purchase things over a period of time. So now, next waiting to be painted up is a Prussian fleet, bearing in mind that when I show boxes here, they contain much more than is just in the box here, because the blister packs that I buy or get hold of get stuffed in these boxes as well. So each one of these contains somewhat more than you see on the box here. So 2 Prussian box sets with blister packs and a Kingdom of Denmark box set with blister packs are going to be the next fleet painting activity. After that, there will be a possibly a Raj fleet, and then further down the line there is a Empire of the Blazing Sun fleet, and then expansions to my Republic of France, my Federated States of America are going to be, and also expanding my Kingdom of Britannia land fleet. So I just want to get a few more fleets painted, and I'm going to be honest with you, from a video point of view, I don't think it's the most interesting of activities, and I feel happier being able to cover it like this. But you never know, if I get my finger out, there might be some painting vids for them, because I haven't done a fleet painting vid for a little while. So yeah, adding to my fleets already, bearing in mind that I have 2, 3, 5, 9 fleets already. Yeah. So that's been taken up. That's how I've been using the time when I have been painting or at the modelling bench, is working my way through that lot. They're nice to get out on the table. But onto the whole subject of gaming, and I think in this video actually I'm going to be talking on a broader perspective as well. So I think, for the time being, I think we'll keep to this whole work life and all the rest of it. Work, for a number of reasons, with a long-term project I've been on, working longer hours. I really wish I could say it was heading towards a happy conclusion. And I think the comment is, wish I could say that. Unfortunately, you're in one of those situations of possibly looking at a number of years of work going down the tubes a bit, as circumstances, goals, central objectives from where you started having moved. But in the lead up to that, I've put in more hours than I certainly normally would, and coming home tired, you just feel either I've been out on the factory shop floor or tied to a laptop writing process documents, and it's taken its toll. I won't deny that. Now I've hit a phase where I'm deliberately not working as many hours, and we're hitting some key decision points as to how what's been going is going to be realised. Then when I add on to it that when I've gone to the Wargames club, sometimes I've been there till about 8, 8:30. Then I've actually gone back into work to see people on the night shift, which has further put holes in my painting, modelling and all those sorts of activities, because you're adding another chunk onto the day. So an awful lot going on that side. And other things, I've added an additional cap to wear. No, it's not different motif. That's is in expanding what I do in terms of non-work activities. I now engage in voluntary work with these guys, the street pastors, providing pastoral care and support for the nighttime community on the streets of Wrexham at night. Something that's every other weekend, but sometimes more as well, depending upon the need for volunteers. So last month I did quite a few, and okay, fair dues. What that does tend to mean I get to a weekend, and I'm going to say this today, I didn't get to bed till 5 AM, then I was up for church again at 9, and it starts taking its toll a bit, particularly at my weekends. So it's something I feel I ought to do, something I wouldn't miss for the world now, and something I've really come to treasure, value and thoroughly enjoy. So anyway, if you want to look up what street pastors are about, I will post a link here that gives an outline to the nature of the work. This isn't about going out hitting people with the gospel or anything like that. It's about practical care and support, working alongside police, ambulance service and door staff and that side of it. But because I'm in a technical field and do fairly other geeky hobbies, it's about also introducing a human-centered activity into my life, which something I think is going to be expanded upon a little bit. But so additional hats covered, work-life balance, such as it is, covered, and also, to be honest, when I'm getting home, it's been too easy at times just to crash out and do something else. I've watched an awful lot of documentary videos, an awful lot, or listened to them and all the rest of it, so much more enlightened on things like Belgian economics, economic history, and a whole variety of other wonderful and very, very assorted subjects. So, what else has been going on? And I think something I'd like to get to is UK Games Expo. I was there last weekend at the Hilton NEC, last weekend being the weekend at the end of May. Well, it depends when you're looking at this anyway, and watching this vid. So Expo 2015 was a brilliant event. I was running a Dystopian Wars tournament there. We had, I think, a pretty good response considering the nature of the event and some of the challenges and backtracking I had to do in the organisation and that side of it, and I certainly learned quite a lot of key lessons on organising future events and how I'm going to do it. So firstly I want to say openly, big thank you to all the guys who came along, were involved, and thank you for your feedback, and thank you that we all had a great weekend. And also for me, to the organisers of UK Games Expo, you guys do a brilliant, brilliant job. I think they go out of their way in the way they're supporting, in the way they just bring, I think probably the country's best gaming convention, as opposed to a wargame show, to life and to fruition. And though I was dealing with a tournament on the Saturday and the Sunday, I had the opportunity, and I took the opportunity, to play a greater variety of games. Now, this takes me into a sort of a territory I very seldom go into, and certainly that can't remember the last time I spoke about in one of the in one of my vids, and that's been board games. Now, I'm not okay. I played the odd game of Carcassonne, yeah, fair enough, and Escape from Atlantis, also now known as Survivor, and that tends to be pretty much it. So, given that UK Games Expo is very heavily about the board gaming scene and a whole huge other variety and plethora of gaming, it was a golden opportunity to, I can say, as we did with the modelling project, to move completely outside of my gaming comfort zone as well. And on the Friday evening and the Saturday evening, there's the open gaming areas. Actually, they're open throughout the day, but I went along to them, and on the Friday I got a game of good old Wings of War game I'm familiar with. Got quite a few aircraft for Wings of Glory. This is First World War aviation combat game that's run by a group of guys from around the country who are absolute fanatics about the game, and they do put on brilliant games of that. I also plunged into, and this was more like loitering around the gaming area, nattering to people, and looking for other people loitering around, etc., etc., to experience other types of game. And I played the card game Race for the Galaxy. I played Mashup, which, okay, I'll go back to those. Played Witches, and heads and shoulders above the other board games was, in my mind, Pandemic, where I was fortunate enough to get 2 games of. And it was a real eye-opener for me. Thoroughly enjoyed the game. And the idea of playing a cooperative game where you're going up against the game itself in a quest to heal diseases was incredibly refreshing from the usual let's sink somebody else's fleet situation, which is the bread and very much so the bread and butter of my gaming. And a big thank you to all the guys who gave us games and introduced me to the games. On the card games, this was completely new territory to me. Not sure if, well, no, I'm pretty certain I won't be buying that kind of game, but I'm glad I've done it. I can understand why people enjoy them, and I can understand the appeal, but really not my cup of tea. But really appreciated the fact that I had the opportunity to play those games and to experience something completely different. Met some brilliant people there from all backgrounds, professions, nations, and had some brilliant chats about gaming clubs, and all that side of it. And it's something I wouldn't miss for the world. Brilliant event, brilliant weekend. I'll put a link there to a post that we've had on the Dystopian Wars community about the game, the results, that kind of thing, if people want to look up on that. I didn't do a video of it because in a situation like that where you've got a large group of people, it doesn't feel quite appropriate to be filming games when you don't know the people that well. So that just for me wasn't a matter of courtesy and what I felt to be correct conduct. So that's the gaming side really largely covered. The modelling side isn't dead, please don't think of that for 1 minute. I have, had a dry patch, shall we say. But Ian, UK Scale Modeler, did inform me about a build for Rob Basic Modelling. And yes, I did have in my mind the classic Rob kit I made in my stash, which is this. So yeah, I will clear the deck, so to speak, of it, and I think I will crack on with this next for the Rob Basic Modelling build. Yes, hand painted. I will be using acrylics, not enamels, Rob. I couldn't go that far. But I know this is one of his favourite kits, and he's probably made more P47s than anyone else I know, and he's incredibly fond of this one. So I do have that, and I'll be having a crack at this one for that build. Something else I haven't forgotten about is the First World War One build and the challenge that every year from 2014 through to 2018 we should build one First World War subject. And I was in Chester Model Shop yesterday, having a bit of a nose round, actually still going back to see if Airfix have released their Supermarine Swift. My commitment there is because of the principle of support your local model store. I will not buy it online. It's going to be delivered to there. If I've got to wait for it, I've got to wait for it. But I will be buying it when I buy it, whenever I buy it, from Chester Model Centre. What I did discover, which some of you guys wanting to do something for this, was this. Bring that a bit closer. Yeah, it's a 12-figure set with 4 figures from each nation: Britain, France and Germany, 1/35th scale infantry figures. Maybe the price of 18 quid was a little bit steep, but I think that's a brilliant find for that, and it's something I will be plunging into, and certainly doing that. I don't know whether I'm going to make all 12 or what, or maybe one group of them, but that certainly provides me with a kit for the next, for at least one of this year's, for the 2015 First World War commemoration build series. And I would say, guys, if any of you guys can find this in your local model shops or online, I think it's an excellent kit to get. I really do. There's an awful lot in there. Nice set of figures. You get a lot of extra weapons and bits, and you've got the 3 nations in there. I can't really comment on the quality of the figures or how the fit is, because I'm not really a 1/35th scale figure modeler, but I am going to look forward to doing those. So, rather chuffed with that find. Something else that's, I must admit, I'm looking forward to this year, and also because, and I'm not giving up building Russian aircraft, please guys, there's always going to be a few red stars popping up throughout the year. But the guys who do Dust Tactics are going to be releasing some of their vehicles as plastic kits. Now, I would have never bought them for wargaming, because I don't like buying pre-made stuff, really. And I've got no particular desire to get involved in playing Dust, but I do love the models. And the idea of building some of the vehicles from that is very, very appealing. So this is something else. It's 1/48 scale, World War II plus whatever, World War II science fiction, diesel punk, so many genres you can call it. Alternative history, who knows. Vehicles, walking tanks, you know, that kind of stuff. A Sherman with legs, all sorts of things like that. That really visually appeal. And because they are 1/48 scale, you can then blend in with some of the 1/48 scale vehicle kits, and no doubt bits from 1/35th scale ones. Because I don't think anybody's really going to be, I don't think the rivet counters there are going to be going that particularly ballistic. You can't really comment on the armour on a Sherman with legs. So that's something that's quite appealing to me, as a bit of escape, a bit of release from the normal genre. And the next thing on the line for me is Gauntlet. That's Deeside Defenders Wargames Club annual convention, which is on our first weekend of July at the Broughton Wings Sports and Social Club near Chester. And we've got the planning for that. I'm involved with the table scheduling and the liaison with the Sports and Social Club and all the rest of it, keeping that side ticking over. Probably going to be playing a large Dystopian Wars game there, and it's just a nice event for me. It represents the centre point of my year, and it's suddenly like thinking, I've already got to the centre of 2015 and seen just how shallow my lacking in my projects have been lately. So, but that's where we are, and that's coming up. we'll have the usual mix of tournaments, demo games, participation games, and a few traders. Also, by the looks of it, we'll have Chester Model Centre there, and some of the local stores as well, like Fourth Planet Games from Wrexham. We'll have a table there as well, and it'll bring together also another company. And this is, again, it's not just supporting local game stores, local model shops, it's also supporting other local businesses. We have Pegasus, Icarus Games, a company based further along the coast from here in Colwyn Bay. A guy who set up his small firm to release a new 28mm science fiction game. They're going to have a table there, marketing the game, introducing people to it, selling some of the miniatures as well. So, which, you know, I believe if we can, and particularly if you're involved in the club scene, to look at who's local to you, how you can support them, how you can encourage them, and to open doors on the development side. Now, we don't charge them heavily. We're only really at the event after covering our table hire costs. So, you know, it's not like these events where you get clobbered with a massive table fee or a cut of your ticket. Just Gauntlet isn't about making any kind of big profit, and the rest of it is about creating the space for people to game. So that's been what's been going on. I suppose on one side, on the hobby side, I feel I need to give myself a bit more of a kick up the backside to get more done. I might do a little bit more painting tonight, but I'm going to be honest with you, I'm dog tired. I think it was worked out less than 3 hours sleep last night, and also Sundays now after church, my wife and myself do tend to make the most of the surrounding areas with walks around the local country parks like Whipper Park, the Allen Valley Park near Wrexham, Whipper Park in Deeside, Eastham Country Park heading up towards the Wirral, and today in the UK it was Open Farm Day, where farms were opening their doors to the public to give them an introduction, or to give them some awareness of basically where our food comes from. For those of you who listen to the Archers, this is an event that's actually covered within the Archers. And to all credit to the farm out near Chester, sorry, bit of a brain fart, I forgot its name, that we went to. Lovely, they did a great job in showing people around, and I had a great look around an old forge that's being brought back to life, and water mill, well, no longer working, but a mill, forge, and that side, which thoroughly enjoyed. So a bit more of actually getting out there. Not to say, unfortunately, my garden I don't really get out into that, even though I look out over it. I can safely say I enjoy the abundance of wildlife that I see through the window of the man cave. That seems to flourish in my garden. That's more of a nature reserve than an actual domestic garden. No, that's what I call it anyway, but we do manage to have a good few nesting birds and a couple of species of butterflies, and I haven't gone looking for hedgehogs, but I wouldn't be too surprised if the little chaps are about there somewhere. But I haven't seen any squirrels, but maybe we just don't have the right kinds of trees for them. Fair enough, and I don't think they're that particularly keen on apples. Anyway, that's been a bit of a ramble, a bit of a discussion. I will be endeavouring to get a few more vids together. I will say that the departure of Lenny Model Pro 72 from the YouTube, and for reasons I do fully understand, with how people got pissed off and all the rest of it. I hate to admit it, but it stung a bit. He'll be missed, and I didn't particularly like the schism and the bad blood that I saw in the community. To be honest with you, while all that was brewing off, I tried to keep a bit of a low profile. I apologise for those of you who feel disappointed if you haven't seen comments from me. That's not been my intention. Truthfully, I haven't watched as nowhere near as many modelling videos as I normally do. As I said, I've watched plenty of other documentaries, discussions about Christian apologetics and other such vids, but on the scale modelling side, yeah, it's taken a bit more of a hit. On the flip side, I have watched more to do with the gaming and the wargaming side, so maybe that side of my activities has seen more of an upswing, but maybe we'll soon get, after the summer solstice, you know, you never know, we'll find the equilibrium again, and as a planet, as the days get longer, the equilibrium gets disturbed leading up to the solstice, and after that you feel you're in the second phase of the year, and autumn, winter looms, and the cycle of our orbit continues. But that's getting all a bit weird, I suppose. Anyway, thank you guys. By the way, there has still been some brilliant work I've been seeing. Oh, crikey. Martin, you did a brilliant job on that Arado. Really, really liked it. You really brought that Revel kit to life there. Beautifully executed and presented. And Hamlet Barkus, I've been loving your builds as well, and particularly your recent figure painting. So I am watching what's going on. Apologies to Merc from Poolshed Games. I know you kind of expect me to comment on every vid. That's not. I'm going to try and do a bit more of a catch up and take a look there. You're certainly not forgotten, and I do enjoy your vids, mate. If sometimes I listen through to one and I've just not clicked to comment, it's not intentional, and I do apologise for that. Nonetheless, I will wish you, all of you out there, to keep on modelling, keep on posting the vids, whatever genre they are. Not just to the modellers out there, but also to the wargamers and all this great community we have out here. That you may take care of yourself, that you may stay safe. And so until the next time, which I will make sure will be sooner rather than later, maybe a couple of weeks or so, take care, God bless. Chancellor North Wales signing out.